Welcome to the Carr and Seguin Show, hosted by Devon Carr and Paul Seguin, where two Michiganders dive into real estate, outdoors, community building, and everything in between. What's up?
What's going on, man?
We got a little new intro here,
right?
That we're getting used to.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
I think so.
Yeah,
we're coming together. We're learning the little nuances.
Fine tuning.
There you go.
Yep.
That's the best way to
look at it. A
look
little
at
tweaking here and there.
We're becoming pros now, as our guest in our next, last next, whatever the heck we're going to say. But it was funny because she goes, "You're the experts." We're like, "Wow, we're the experts."
Yeah,
now.
right.
That's crazy.
I don't believe it.
No. It's only episode 26 that we're on. I mean, sure that
we've come a long way.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, from the first one, but
we should go back and listen to the first episode. All right, we're done. 10 minutes in.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that's a winner.
Brush that one off.
Right?
I can't, dude.
Oh, but I mean,
here we are.
Another day.
That's right, man.
Yep.
Another day, another dollar. So what is our discussion of topics today on this show?
A little mixed bag, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
I like how we mix it up.
Yeah.
I think hopefully the audience agrees. We do, our own shows, different topics. It could be a variety of topics, really.
Right.
Whatever's hot, market, or just what's
personal
going on
life.
in our lives.
Right.
I think it's good to know what's going on in our lives.
Right.
Right?
We're people too, you know.
Heck yeah, we are. We're not just real estate people.
Right.
We got family. We got interests and hobbies.
Yeah.
And that all kind of ties into what we record.
Yeah.
Who we bring on.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, let's talk about the market first, shall we?
Let's do it. Obviously, that is a lovely topic that I could go on forever. But no, I think honestly right now, and I don't know if you're feeling on the mortgage side because you do a lot of, I don't know if refinances are still rolling and whatnot or investments or whatever, but I think on the real estate buying and selling side, there is kind of this little, let's just say it feels like it's slower, but it's really not.
Right, yeah.
It's not. It's not as crazy as it was a couple months ago. I mean, I even just saw another realtor did a little live video that I watched her do, and she kind of talked a little bit about it too. And it seems to be the hot topic amongst realtors, it's how's business? Is it is it slowing down a little bit for you? And I mean, you could say yes to an extent, but I think at the same time it's really not. It just looks a little different. Mm-hmm. Homes are still selling.
Yep.
Over asking with multiple offers.
Right.
So I think the essence, it's really not slow. It's just not as insane as it was a couple months ago.
Right. It's not like they have an open house and there's literally
100 people,
line of cars, just waiting to get in.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was just telling another client that simply it is still a very good time to sell, and we'll get into the data of that because I love numbers. I know Devon's a numbers guy too, but you can't. Stats don't lie. They tell you like it is. But it's just simply that you're not getting, because I remember in the spring, early summer where you saw, I'm sure I did a few myself, social media posts where you're just over 100 showings and 100 people at the open house.
Just crazy
It's just
numbers.
insane numbers, right? I mean, you go live on a Thursday and you're completely booked within 24 hours all the way to Sunday.
Right.
It's just insane, right? I remember the days where the phone is showing request, yep, showing request, yep. Every 10, 20 minutes, request, all the time. And that's just not the case anymore. And really why is that? I think obviously just a part of what happened in early spring, right? There was just this massive surge of, I think, just pent up buyers from the winter, right? And we'll get into that a little bit in the stats because there was just absolutely, and I know we've mentioned this a few times, during the winter, there was no homes whatsoever.
Right.
Inventory levels was, at the very lowest it's ever been in records. And so and then here in Michigan, it's a slower time to begin with. People don't like to move when there's like a foot of snow on the ground. That's a lot of fun, right? So you get those two combinations together, very low inventories. It's winter, it's cold, there's snow. There's just not much action.
Right, yeah.
And then there was all that mix of lockdowns and all that kind of stuff too, which I'm sure played into it with COVID. But then we come out of the spring when everything's open, everything's going, and then you just had this massive surge like we always do, but it was kind of like a ×5 rush, right? So that, I think, when you get used to that kind of market and then it kind of normalizes, then you're like, oh, it's slow. No, it's not.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because I've been speaking with a couple of people that are selling or listing their homes, and it's like, well, is it different? Are we not going to get over asking? I'm like, well, no, of course not. It's still moving like that.
Right. It's still good.
Yeah, it's still very good. And we'll show you the data. It's very good time to sell. It's just you're not getting 100 showings and 100 people at open house anymore. But money it's still on the buying side. It's still very good too because rates are still low.
Right.
Historically low.
Yep.
I was asked that the other day. I'm like, well, is it still good to buy? I'm like, of course it is. Money's cheap. Yeah, but it's like around 3. Okay, so do you really want to look at the historical data of interest rates and then try to tell me that it's not still a good time to buy? So it's a good time to buy and sell, guys. Honestly, I think it's even better than before. I think it's the best time to sell and buy. I think just simply because you're in that slowness, which is not really slow. It just feels slow because it's different than what it was the last couple of months.
Right.
It's still, you're getting less offers to compete with. So when you're out there, if you're thinking of buying a new home, like if you're currently renting and you're sick of paying your landlord, now's the time to buy. There's less competition, right? You're not going up against 20 offers.
Right, yeah.
You're going up against 5, maybe 10, depending on the home and the location. And if it's priced right.
Right.
There's a couple variables in there. But what's kind of unique, I love looking at these numbers. I look at them all the time. We have some data points that we can look at. And I know I've explained this on the show in a previous episode as months of supply. And that just simply means it's a data thing. People are like, well, how can they accurately know? It's because we have numbers of how much mortgage applications are being ran.
Yeah.
And then we take that against how much homes are on the market. So if you take how many active buyers there should be in the market compared to what's on the market to buy, that's where they come up with months of supply. Meaning that if every house was sold with what's on the market, this is how many homes would be available for how long.
Right.
So, get my breath here. What was it? Shut up, Paul! Gotta throw that one in there, Johnny. But so right now, currently, and this only goes back, like we don't have August data yet, obviously, because we're mid through August, right? We're coming towards the end of August. So July of 2021. So whenever you're watching this in the future, this is what we're talking about. July of 2021. I'm using 3 counties: Washtenaw County, Wayne, and Livingston. So right now, Washtenaw County has 2.5 months of supply. And I'm going to note this right now to you people watching, is that when we watch this in like 5 to 10 years, when, who knows whether it goes kind of more towards the buyer's market ever again or anything like that. Right. To know that we were at a point that we were once in 1.1 months of supply in Livingston County.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
But that data goes back to December of 2020, back to what I was saying, when the winter hit.
Right.
This past 2020 winter was just there. It was insane. Look at 1.0. 0.9 in February. Yeah. Insane.
That's not a lot.
No. No. So 2021's data for Washtenaw County is 2.5 months of supply. Wayne County is 1.8, and Livingston County is 1.6. So again, that means if every home sold to the number of buyers in the market, that's how long the homes would last. And then there'd be 0 homes completely. Anything less than 6 months of supply of inventory is considered a buyer's market. Anything higher than 6 is considered a buyer's market. And that's where we were, just to give you an idea.
You just had 2 buyers markets.
Huh? Oh, I said buyers?
Yeah.
Oh, anything less than 6 is a seller's market. Higher than 6 is a buyer's market. Thank you for the correction. Yep. But that gives you an idea of where we sit.
Right, yeah.
6 is the number.
And we're at what right now?
2.5.
So I would still say it's a seller's market.
All day long.
Yeah.
all day long. And that's where, that gives you a gauge of where the market currently is. So, again, you taking that data and how to dissect it is simply, if you are thinking of selling your house, there's never been a better time.
Right.
Hands down. And then vice versa for buying. There still has never been a better time. I think now even more as we approach the fall and winter time, your competition is less when it comes to writing offers. But to put an asterisk to that, I just lost a deal last weekend where we offered, it was listed for, I think I just spit, $295. Home was listed at asking at $295, and we offered $341. It didn't get accepted.
Whew.
Isn't that insane? So even though feels slower, the market temperature's still there, hot. It's just, again, there's not as much crazy, just hot competition.
Right.
It was like a feeding frenzy, right? It was like, you ever go to like Cedar Point and you throw that corn feed into the carp when they're just
bubbles. Right. Yeah.
And they just eat it all. That's honestly what the real estate market looked like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Where it just was like, here's a couple of homes.
Right.
War.
It's still.
And it still is. Yeah. We were going to go look at a house for a client of ours, and they were listed at $300, $355 cash. $55,000 over asking cash offer.
Right.
So, again, that shows you right there. This is real life stuff. I'm not making these numbers up or these situations. These are real life stuff that we're doing. I would love to say that every offer I write, it gets accepted.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Any realtor who says that, they're lying to your face, by the way. So that would be a big red flag, I would say.
I don't lose.
Yeah, I never lose. Yeah, right. Pop your head. Pop the balloon over your head. You do. But so just to kind of give an idea, too, I told those are the stats. Again, Washtenaw 2.5, Wayne 1.8, Livingston 1.6 currently. So if you go all the way back 1 year, so let's go all the way back to July of 2020, just to give you an idea of what 1 year has done to this industry. So let's actually, hold on, let me do this though, because we were looking at this for a second before we come on the show. So the pandemic hit the world around March, April of 2020.
Yeah. It was March. It was March, yeah.
Yeah. Because that whole month of April, it was like lockdown.
Right, yeah.
Big time. Because I know then it was May 7th. I remember that day like yesterday where it was like, freedom!
Right, yeah.
Real estate opened back up again. We can get back to work. So go all the way back to before pre-pandemic numbers, right? And it's kind of unique. I kind of want to point this out because it's kind of cool to see that like January was let's just say it was an average of 2.7 homes on months of inventory, right? So then February, we're still right there. We'll say it went up a little, 2.9, we'll say.
This is 2020.
2020, yeah. Right before the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And then March. So here's this is kind of cool. I love this stuff, by the way. I hope you all do. Take these notes. We went from a 2.7 to about a 2.9, and then right before the pandemic hit, you see this? Look, we went to 3.2, 2.9. Is that 2.2? Looks a little far.
Yep,
yeah.
2.2.
But you could see the Washtenaw Wayne County market start to go up.
Right
before the pandemic hit. And then it flatlined, right? Because obviously everybody who was probably going to list their home in April was like, what? Oh, put the brakes on that. I don't know what's going on here in this whole world. And then soon as, at least here in Michigan, our governor opened real estate, where I think a lot of stuff, May 7th. She kind of pulled back a lot of the restrictions. And then May just like jumped, obviously, because you had probably a month of supply of homes that people were waiting.
Right, yeah.
And then boom, with the, like if I had listing at that point, I don't remember if I did or not, but it was like just flip the switch, put them back up, let's go.
Right, yeah.
And so it jumped all the way up for Wayne, Washtenaw to 4.3, 3.1, and 2.8 for the Wayne and Livingston. And then since then, this is kind of crazy. So since the market back opened, it's been this little steady decline in months of supply all the way down to December of 2020. So like I just talked about, the winter was crazy. I mean, we had Livingston 1 month.
Right.
And it even goes to 0.9 in Livingston in February. And then so just as we come up to the spring market, May, you're getting more 2.1, 1.5, and 1.2 in Livingston. And then now we're up to where I just said 2.5 in Washtenaw, 1.8 in Wayne, and Livingston's 1.6. So
it's on a little bit of a
upward, it did.
But
yeah, just as like your normal, spring market, May, you saw a little jump. June and July, I know we saw a lot of increase June and July. It kind of went back to kind of normal levels where we were pre-pandemic when we opened up in May of 2020, it just shot up, and then it's just this. And I think the reason for it is because there's a lot of that buyers.
Right.
I mean, I remember when I would look at stats during the last really year, there was more homes pending than there were actually being sold. So, or listed.
Okay.
So if it was new homes that were 3,600, new pending were like 39. So there's 2 more homes being ripped off before more than what were being put on.
Right.
So that's what created the craziness. I mean, if you look at their numbers now, and we can sum up the marketing part of this, but right now there's new homes, if I can read it, 3,500 new homes listed in the last week, and this includes all of the real comp. So you're talking Oakland, Livingston, Wayne, Washtenaw, all inclusive here. Let's see, 294 coming soon. But here's the ticker. Here's one that I want to really point out. Price decrease, 1732. Almost 1,800 homes have price decreases. And why is that? Again, I think it's coming to when you meet with a realtor, the good agents who are a part of the NAR association. We have to operate on a higher standard of operational procedures, if you want to call it. It's all price is everything.
Well, yeah.
I talk to a lot of people when I do listing. Pricing is about everything. Pricing your homes correctly is going to help in this market. It's a seller's market. Don't be greedy. Let the market bring you the greed.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so you are seeing it where unfortunately there are times where you just kind of say, okay, fine, I'll list it at 350, even though we should be listing it like 330.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean,
and then buyers are getting smarter. They know their neighborhood as they've gone through this crazy market, and they go, wow, 350. What do you mean? Like, no.
Right.
No.
This house down the street sold for that, and it's not even half the size.
That, or it's nicer, or it's updated, right? And that's the biggest thing is always, well, that one over there sold for 350. Like, okay, well, let's actually compare. That's why we give you comps.
Right.
Do you have an updated kitchen? No. Is your bathroom's updated? No. Does your backyard look as nice as theirs?
Right.
No. Which usually means negative in dollars, negative dollars, negative dollars. Okay, so now let's talk, right? And the market's going to tell you that, guys. I mean, that's why you see these homes that are decreasing in price. The market's going to tell you 100%. If you have a home that is priced right or just is immaculate, the market will go crazy over it.
Yeah.
But if you're not doing it correctly, it's not going to sell. And then who are you putting in the driver's seat when you price too high? Not yourself, the buyer. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be a struggle because then, and it sucks. It really does. And then you're coming to the seller and like, hey, we got an offer finally, but it's 20 grand, below.
Right.
Oh, well, no, why? Let's wait. Well, waiting more is only going to costs you more.
Right.
Because that buyer's not going to sit around and wait. And if you want to wait, then all we're going to do is then do a price reduction like we're seeing. And then who does that also put more leverage into? The buyer. You always want to keep your leverage on your seat, right?
Naturally. You would think.
Yeah. Right. So anyways, I'm just passionate about this stuff, right?
Well, it's all good information. It's good information.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there's the little market update. Yeah.
Well, it answers the question for a lot of people.
No,
I ask if it's slow or whatever.
It's slower than it was. That's it. That's the only way of looking at it.
Right.
It's just we're not in that feeding frenzy. I think the best analogy is it's there's just less carp that you're throwing food to. That's it. And they're still going crazy over it.
There's still plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not something to be worried about.
No.
Not at all. And on your side, from what I hear, everything's pointing to interest rates staying pretty low.
Yeah.
They're not moving too much.
No.
Nothing to be alarming, right? So buyers, now's the time. And, there's no better time to sell. And I honestly say that because everything that I see still points to home values increasing. It's a normalized appreciation, 2, 3, 4%, right, is what we'll see. It's not going to be this crazy 20% that we've seen in markets over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, which has been great, but it's still not, still good to sell and buy.
No, absolutely.
Because your home's still going to appreciate. Even a lot of people are like, yeah, but I'm buying high. But your house is still going to appreciate. And from what I've been reading, for the next 5 years, they're calling for it. No one can predict the future.
Well, yeah.
So don't hold me to it.
Right.
But everything.
I remember when Paul said,
I'm going to sue him.
Yeah.
Because we're in a sue-happy world these days. How about just do your own research? But I'm doing it for you. No, I don't know. I love obviously the selling side. Obviously, you can hear the passion. And I just love delivering results.
Well, it's important to, educate them. And, we talked about something today that I've heard the question probably last week, probably a dozen times. Is it slowing down? The answer, it's not really.
No. Not when you're in the field.
Right.
Right? Not when we're going up against homes and offers. It's still like it was. It's just not as many. The house that literally she had 4 offers. The other house on the other was 7. But that's still good.
That's still very good.
When you can have, I think, honestly, when we were getting 20 to 25 offers a house, it was stupid. It's not fun. It's
crazy.
Honestly. To then print out all those offers and go present to the seller is like, it's dumb. Half of the offers anyways are trash. Let's be real. But
right, but still, it's still a lot.
It's a lot to go over. It's a lot to show because you got to present them all. You got to go over them all. That's my fiscal responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a lot easier to say, okay, here's our 5. Now let's pick the best one that fits for you.
Right.
That's it. And so I kind of like it, actually.
I would imagine.
Yeah. A little normalcy, but it's still a good time. Still a good time.
Absolutely. Both sides.
Both sides. Mm-hmm. It's never been this good for both sides. Honestly.
No.
It's not. Money is cheap, and you can sell your stinking house for more money than you could ever believe in.
Right.
I've the couple that I was with in Livonia. So if you're looking for Livonia, give me a call. I do have one coming soon. But Livonia, they just bought their home in 17.
Okay.
Or 16. No, I'm sorry, 14. So there's a good gap.
Yep.
7 years for $80,000. And now we're going to list it for $220,000. You believe that?
It's crazy.
That's a great investment on your money, people.
I would say so.
And the cool thing is you didn't actually spend all that money. The bank lent you the money. But you're now able to capitalize and write yourself a 6-figure check.
Right.
Using somebody else's money.
It's crazy.
That should be mind-blowing for a lot of people.
Right. Buy a house for $80,000, sell it for
$220,000.
$220,000.
Right. So if you are in that similar boat, we need to talk.
Yeah.
Do not miss this opportunity. It's not that it's going anywhere, like I just said, but it's still cash out.
Right.
And then, hey, if you don't want to move and you still want to cash out, I got a guy. Call him. He'll refi.
Right, yeah.
Pull that equity out of your house for you, too, all day.
Want to buy a new boat?
There you go. You want to consolidate some debt? You want to buy a new boat? Hunting property because hunting season's coming up?
Right, you name it.
I know. I'm getting pumped. I know you got
I'm getting ready.
your brother-in-law, right? Bought a new blind for the
Shadow
property.
Hunter, and
That's hunting in style.
that is hunting in style.
Insulated boards.
Yep,
Got some little windows. They latch up.
it's fancy.
Soundproof.
It's nice. I built one an octagon 6x6 octagon last Labor Day.
I mean, we could get a poker game going in
I
there.
started in Labor Day.
Did you?
Labor Day weekend, and it took me a little while to
DIY?
completely finish it. But I mean, it weighs probably 800 pounds. His weighs like 200, if that. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot nicer to move
they
around.
Use a little nicer material.
Yeah, I would say it's not just straight wood.
Right. Don't need a machine to lift it up.
Right, pretty much. Yeah.
Don't need a tractor to move it. It does come in that pretty large container.
Yeah.
It's a little daunting. Like, oh, shoot, I got to put this together.
It's not bad. Directions are good. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
That's what I know you said. It was pretty easy to put together.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Shadow Hunter.
Shadow Hunter.
Yep.
You hunt in the shadows. Yeah. Never seen or heard or smelled. So you can slaughter the deer. No, I know we talked about the phone there. Like the only channel that's on my TV right now is the outdoor channel.
Yep.
Just getting ready.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Deer Week comes in September on the outdoor
Even
channel.
though the PGA Tour playoffs have started. So
you got to switch.
May take a little.
They can only produce so many
TV
hunting
watching.
Channel or shows.
It's
So
true.
sometimes you
I
start
think,
repeating. It's like, I got to change. I've seen this one.
I've actually watched. I'm like, oh, this one again? Yeah, we'll see what's on the Golf Channel.
Right.
You should start your own show. You got big enough property,
I
too.
don't know.
Devon, come on. We got to think
know.
big. We got to
I don't
dream
know
big.
yet.
We'll get Steve Arnell and.
I know he's got that new show, Back 40, how they transform that.
That was awesome. I've watched it twice now. It's a great show.
That's a great show.
Mark Kenyon.
Yep.
The
Wired to Hunt podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
should get him on.
Yeah.
Mark, if you hear us, come on.
For Rut Radio.
Let's do it. All right. Well, hey, there's a good market update show for you all.
I would agree.
Good one. Take
Going
that
into
information.
the fall,
That's right.
it's all good stuff.
It's going to be good.
Yep.
Always will be good. Call us. If you got any questions, again, we've always voiced on our show, it's all about just educating. If you're wondering, we're here to talk.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Absolutely.
not pressured in sales. It's just we're a bundle of wisdom when it comes to the real estate. Come and get it. Come and get it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm Paul Seguin with EXP.
I'm Devon Carr with Gold Star Mortgage.
And we are the Carr and Seguin Show.
See ya.
The primary purpose of this podcast series is to inform, entertain, and educate. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast series do not constitute legal or professional advice, opinions, or endorsements of any kind. Gold Star Mortgage Financial Group, NMLS 3446, Equal Housing Lender.